Hello, happy Friday, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the tardiness. Look, I'm not going to front. I was nearly late for the show because all I want to do is play Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm 3 hours in, and my God, folks, if you're not playing this game, you're doing life wrong. I'm going to tell you that right now. It is astoundingly good. Again, at the 3 hour mark, the characters themselves, the protagonists, are busting out with such personality. And it's incredible where you see how strong they can be, but how vulnerable. Look, it is astoundingly good. DEI has nothing to do with this game. Please do not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. It's an Assassin's Creed game in Japan. I have been begging for a decade for this to happen. It's finally here, and it's stunning. And I don't know about you fine folks. We're going to open up the show talking about this because all I'm doing is gushing about this game. It's so good. And yes, I've already bought DLC. I'm running around as a glowing eye skull. The armor is dope. The steed is, listen, I get it through Ubisoft Plus, so I got it technically for free. And I got the best version because I have Ubisoft Plus. And I was like, you know what? I got to throw these fine folks some money. These armor sets are dope as shit. And I did get them. So, but that's opening salvo. Second half of the show, folks, probably the bigger half of the show is going to be what happened yesterday. The accidentally on purpose release that Steam is being integrated into Xbox on PC. Folks, I'm here to tell you whether there are two sides of this coin. Either someone was fired yesterday, which of course we don't want that to happen, or this was some sort of a controlled leak because it went out and went right back in the box. Sorry, folks. I don't mean to. Xbox. I'm talking directly to you. Cat's out of the bag already. We got the photos, and unfortunately, you can't take those back. They're on the internet. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have fun today. We're going to talk about gaming. We're going to talk about the future of Xbox. And I get a chance to hang out with my brothers here. Silent Cypher, good morning, kind sir. Welcome back. How you feeling, man?
Good morning. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm glad that we have another Assassin's Creed game out to know life for a little bit, do a whole bunch of missions and look around for random stuff. But no, it's been a heck of a week as far as the news goes so far over the last day or two.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to talking it with you guys. But great to be with you as always. Chat. Great to see some familiar faces in there. And yeah, let's get on it.
Absolutely, brother. Korkenstein, my brother from another. How are you feeling, man? Welcome back. I know it's super early in the West Coast right now, but we're happy to have you here. Can't wait to get your hot takes on Assassin's Creed. I think it's a stunner. How are you feeling, man? Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, bud. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've been playing it on Ubi Plus as well. So many great quality of life improvements to the series.
Yes.
There's a lot there that the game just does right. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm going to say this. You know, one of the big things where you're going to immediately feel if you are someone that appreciates heritage and culture. These things are at the forefront, and they're done with such respect. They're done with such pointed ways of, when you see a shrine and it gives you the ability to pray at the shrine. There are these flashback memories that are a part of the game that at first I was not bothered. I was confused by them because I found one. I did that. There's a praying mechanic that you have to do. It's a bunch of button prompts, and you have to do it, and you get to a point where you start to see the characters pop up on the screen, and then the fog. You go into this fog, and it's a flashback memory, and I'm like, how did we get here? But it's done so well that it's telling you how you got where you are, and it's doing it in such a way that it's astoundingly good. This game is going to eat your life up. But Fuzzy Belvedere, good morning, kind sir. How are you feeling?
Good morning. Glad to be here with you guys. Yeah, I'm enjoying life right now, enjoying gaming, and Yeah, I did the Ubisoft Plus deal because I figure test it out, see if I want to do the full boat type of deal as far as the deluxe edition. Figure by a month's time, it'll probably be reduced in price a bit. So
Yeah.
lose out on anything on that, but enjoying it so far. Love the combat. Same thing like with Valhalla. Like that was one of my favorite as far as the combat because it feels so visceral. This is definitely there.
Oh, yeah.
More so as far as dismemberment than what I remember from Ghost of Tsushima. I remember you could chop off arms and that was about it. But this one, yeah, brutality is definitely there. But enjoying it, just enjoying gaming in general. Got to see the future game show with some smaller games in there that I'm looking forward to as well. But man, it's just an awesome time to be a gamer. It's like week after week, new hits drop into either Game Pass or available on the platform. Got some interesting news on Xbox and Steam. And
yeah, we're gonna get into that. Cat's out of the bag, ladies and gentlemen. We will break that down. Everybody's reporting on it. We saw stories from VGT. We saw Tom Warren put a story. We saw Jez Corden. Look, the future of Xbox is incredibly bright. Interestingly enough, I've seen a lot of people on the PlayStation side panicking at the fact that Steam is going to be integrated. Folks, why? Who cares? You win as a customer. We're going to get into a particular tweet from Destin Legary that set the internet on fire regarding you being able to play your PlayStation games on an Xbox. And, well, he's not wrong about that. Again, he's being facetious. By the way, shout out to Destin, which if you missed it, he jumped on the show Wednesday night with Hargeet Chani and Kay Asante and myself, and hung out there for about 25 minutes. It was great. And of course, shout out to Paris Lilly, who jumped on yesterday's show with me and C Money. We had a great conversation there. So yeah, I've been very privileged to have these industry giants jump on the show and have great conversation, which we're going to have today. And of course, I want to talk about games. I want to talk about a specific game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, folks. It's out. I'm going to tell you this right now. I absolutely hate myself that I did not buy that collector's edition because, again, I'm in an apartment. I don't have a lot of room. But interestingly enough, like in front of me where you can't see is on the left-hand side, this is basically a Ubisoft shelf. I have everything from the Division, all their statues. I have the two statues, Marcus, and I don't even remember the guy's name from with the X's on his eyes from Watch Dogs 2, one of my favorites in the series. I have the original Aiden statue here. On this side over here, you can't see it, but I have a couple of Assassin's Creed ones, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this, whatever. And that I'm actually gonna probably go look for it. I'm gonna be honest with you. It really does look good, but I want to talk about the game. I'm 3 hours in. I have unlocked a couple of achievements, and I already see the pattern. There is a marker, a blue circle marker that's in the distance, and I know where I have to go, and somehow or another, I'm not going there. I'm going in the opposite direction. So there's the blue mark, and I just find myself going over here, and I'm finding, a guy getting robbed by a bunch of bandits. A shrine being attacked that I have to kill a bunch of samurai, and I just keep going and going. And then I came across one of the perch locations where it does like the big 360 and opens up the area. You know what I'm talking about. The infamous ones you jump from into hay. And I don't remember if you could do this with some of the older ones. And I guess because I haven't played in a while, you can mark, like you hit the left trigger and it brings up everything that's around you and you start to mark it off. And I think you can mark off about 5 or 6 of them because they each get a color circle. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me because I'm going to circle these things. I'm going to try and get to them. And what's crazy is here's the blue circle. This is main mission. here are the 5 or 6 circles that I made, and I'm not going to any of them. I keep going in other directions to find other shit. It is crazy. Now, maybe that's a me problem, but it's a good problem to have because, again, this has microtransactions. If you are someone like me that does not mind buying them, I already bought like a mount and an outfit pack. They look like Skeletor is what they look like, and she has like glowing red eyes. It's dope. The mount is kind of like a ghost, which looks dope. And again, microtransactions aside, this game is just oozing with personality. And I really have to say this, like, right up front and personal with it, is the way that they handle the culture and the importance of prayer. It's not in your face where it's bothersome in any way, but the respect that was shown to making this game is clear and present. I know there was just an unbelievable amount of hate rolled into this game prior to its launch, either through shrines being able to be destroyed, which of course is considered in the Japanese culture incredibly disrespectful. Of course, the DEI stuff, which, oh my God, there is a woman and a black man in a game. Oh my, what are we gonna do? It's just, folks, it's a game. Grow up, put on the big boy pants. That's all I want to tell you. Put on your big boy pants and play a game. That's all I can tell you. But I am gonna say that this game is absolutely stunning. And I'm not just talking about, you just walk through this one part on the mountain is gorgeous because it's got a Buddha there or something. No. You just riding the horse. If you just push, just the left stick and you just kind of walk slowly, there are petals from the flowers, there's wind. The weather changes on a dime. It could be sunny, and then you start to see, it doesn't like flip a switch and then it's just piss and rain. No, clouds roll in. It starts to get a little dark. It is astounding how gorgeous this game is. And of course, the brutality is not to be believed. I mean, you are cutting arms off. You are cutting heads off. There was one, I just posted it on Twitter, where I got this move where you hold right trigger and you do like this dash towards them, and it stuns them and it takes all the color away except for the red. And then I did a flip and I slit the throat, and I was like, whoa, my God, this is crazy. This game is, look, what a year. I mean, we're only in March. And again, we're almost out. Sure, today's the 21st, but this has been one freaking amazing quarter of 2025. I can't imagine what the rest of the year is going to levy for us gamers. And again, this just goes to show you, it doesn't matter where you play. Play on PlayStation, enjoy it. Play on Xbox, awesome. Switch to an announcement in 2 weeks. I understand that, the world kind of sucks right now for a whole lot of reasons and a whole lot of stuff that we don't have control over, especially when it comes to government, which we don't talk about on this show. But this is one of those instances where you can retreat to gaming. And again, I understand it's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby. Maybe you can't afford to buy everything. I certainly can't, which is why I have all these different services like Ubisoft Plus, because $20 a month gets me all of these games in the service, and this is one of them. And you get every edition, every piece of DLC. It's amazing. But I've gushed enough. Silent Cypher, let's talk Assassin's Creed Shadow. I want to get your thoughts, your theories, and your experiences so far.
Okay, well, I'll preface for the chat that I am a little bit behind you guys, probably, because I just checked and I think I'm about an hour and a half or so in, which literally shocked me. But that was just the prologue. When they rolled the screen for the prologue, I was like, oh, holy crap, that's right. We haven't even really officially started the game per se. But so far, initial impressions, really, really smooth, very well polished. it's like you were talking about in regards to even just roaming around and looking at your environment as you're doing these missions or you're trying to target someone. There was a lot of love put into this game. You can tell it, like it oozes personality. It oozes that love when you're playing around on it. And like you said, man, like the decapitations and stuff. Like the first couple times I went through someone and I lopped off a head, I was like, dude, he just slit through that head like, a hot knife in butter. Like it was unreal how smooth that motion was. And I was like, dude, wait, homie left, he lost his head. Like, wait, what just happened? I wasn't expecting it. And I should have, but it's something I haven't seen in the game for a minute in that fashion. I've been wanting, that samurai or ninja type of game. And this, I feel like, is going to be scratching that itch pretty well. There's a lot to it. I will say right off the bat, too, the fact that they did provide us some options to customize it for your experience as well. Like if you want your quality mode, your performance mode, it's all there. It's all front loaded. They've learned lessons from when they released some of these in the past and we're like, yeah, you're going to have 30 frames. And then everyone freaked out and they're like, well, we'll have another one eventually, maybe. Like they front loaded it. They got it squared away. Both modes, from what I can tell so far, play very well.
I'm playing at 40. That's what I'm doing, the 40 frames. Yeah,
that's
what
the
I'm
quality
doing.
mode, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and honestly, like it's pretty well dialed in for a quality mode. I feel like when it locks at 30, it's not as comfy in some games, depending on the motion that you're doing. But it's played pretty well so far. The characters, the writing on it so far, like very relatable characters. You're very like I'm very engaged in their stories already, and it's really awesome to see the I guess just the effort that they put into this to make it feel very reverent to those times and to those characters and stuff. Like it feels just very, very polished. I'll probably say that a few times. But yeah, it just so far I've been very impressed with what has come out. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Ubisoft has had a bit of a rough time recently. So for them to actually drop one that seems like it's a hit makes me happy. I hope that they don't rest on their laurels on this. I hope that they take this feedback and understand that this is more what we're looking for than some of the other stuff they've released recently. And hopefully this is the beginning of a change over at Ubisoft. I mean,
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, so far I'm really digging it. I'd recommend anyone who's on the fence on it, you've got the option of Ubisoft Plus if you want to do it on the cheap.
Yep.
If you want to purchase it, they've got a really sweet edition that's got content and stuff in it loaded up for when they release it here in the next couple months. It's good to roll, and it's perfect because it landed right for the weekend. I'm looking forward to playing some more of it.
You know what I'm going to say right off the bat? I can't speak for others. I very much enjoyed Mirage. Mirage was a return to the OG. I was going to say Splinter Cell. To Assassin's Creed that I absolutely loved. It was a still a very sizable game, but a smaller, more confined Assassin's Creed. My fear for this, which I did not, and again, I'm only 3 hours in, folks, so bear with me on this. I can't speak for others. I can speak for myself. I absolutely loathe Valhalla. I hated it. I put 30 plus hours into it, and I don't know what it is or why I didn't enjoy it. But prior to that, I put nearly, and I'm not lying, folks, I posted it on Twitter, nearly 19 days in Odyssey. I got almost every achievement in the game. Again, it's there for you to go and take a look at. And I did just as much, a little bit more with Odyssey. I did that with Origins. So I love this open world stuff. My concern, Korkenstein, was, oh God, please, for the love of Joe, don't make this game a Japanese version of Valhalla. And I'm here to tell you it really isn't. And look, I know people are going to get mad if I try to make this comparison, but from inception, because of the feel, because of the look, because of the class and precision that was done to make this all as authentic as possible, I am getting the greatest Ghost of Tsushima vibes you could possibly have. And that is a tremendous compliment, because Ghost of Tsushima for me is one of my favorite new IPs from Sony. I think that it got robbed at sitting at an 83. I said this way back then, where I believe it came out in the same year as The Last of Us 2. And in my opinion, The Last of Us 2 should have got the 83. This should have gotten the 94. That I'll die on this hill on that. And of course, this year we are getting Ghost of Yotai. I absolutely can't freaking wait. So if you are wondering about how good this game is, you've already heard me gush about it, and I will continue to do so. Silent Cypher already, laid it out for you. This is a masterclass level Assassin's Creed. Korkenstein, I want to get your thoughts, theories, and your personal experiences in what I believe is going to be a game that people are going to talk about towards the end of the year in their top 10, maybe even their top 5 lists.
I've been playing about 5 hours worth. I think I have about
awesome.
5.5 hours into Assassin's Creed. It's it's a lot of fun, absolutely gorgeous. I did the same thing, Ubi Plus. Just to try it and see. I liked Valhalla. I did. I liked the storyline. I liked what it had to offer. I think I liked the way that they kind of changed up some of like the side mission stuff. For me, Valhalla didn't seem so much of a chore that most of the Assassin's Creed games are. Because usually sometimes you get that open world burnout. With Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
I didn't really get that with Valhalla. I don't have it yet with Shadows. We'll see. I mean, I'm only 5.5 hours in. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I'm playing on PC. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I got it maxed out on the details, and yeah, like I said, you see all the little petals flying around, the ray tracing, the lighting on it is just absolutely gorgeous. The color palette is gorgeous as well. It just fits so well with that Japanese style and narrative. It's overall just so far it's really grabbed me. Like I said, it could be my my ADHD or whatever, but I'm like, ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Yes.
And I
Yeah,
just
I'm
keep
right there
jumping
with
from
you.
like side thing to side thing to side thing. And like I just, the little blue dot up in the corner is just looking at me all sad, like, why aren't you completing this? I'm ready to move on with the game, but it's like I gotta go pray at this shrine. I gotta go kill these bandits. I gotta go do this. It's just it's a lot of fun. And the quality of life improvements for the series, which I hope they continue with, like the prone. You could go prone. That's a great. I mean, something so small, but such a big addition now is that you could go prone. The grappling hook is a fun little, addition as well. I'm really digging the grappling hook. I don't know. There's just so much there to unpack that I feel like we really haven't. We're just barely scraping the surface of what's to come with Assassin's Creed, and I just really, really can't wait just to dive in more with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things that, and I continue to say this. I've said this about Avowed, and I believe this is going to be like a running theory for me personally. This is one of those games, Fuzzy, that the more you personally put into it, the more I believe you're going to get in return. Avowed is like that. I honestly believe that that's one of those games that if you continue to look around each corner, you're going to find something shiny and new and something that you would have missed if you just continued to walk straight instead of making a left turn at Albuquerque. I believe that Assassin's Creed Shadow is definitely right there as well. This is one of those games that is massive, and I'm just in like I'm in just like the first 3 hours, and I'm not gonna front to you folks. I bought the unlock map thing. It was like 500 of their monies, whatever. I do that on every Assassin's Creed. Why should I have to hunt for things? You know what? I got money. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna spend it, and I have everything already out there. If there's a treasure chest, there it is. I go and I find it. I add it to a blue circle and I go. There's only so much time of someone that produces 5 shows a week and 10 to 15 videos. I'm gonna make it as easy as possible for me. I am playing on normal, which is standard fare for me. The game, if you just press the X button, you're gonna lose. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There is blocking, there is rolling out of the way. I'm glad you brought that up, Korkenstein. The go prone thing is awesome because if you want to sneak yourself around, you go all the way down to the ground and you kind of like just crawl your way through things. There are these big samurai dudes that look like tanks. I can't fight those things now, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of the way. I'm gonna sneak my way like a snake, and it's pretty freaking cool. Fuzzy, let's get your thoughts, man. How far have you gotten into it, and are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, definitely enjoying it. Only about 5 hours in, but a lot of that time is doing the exploring. Like the blue dot is like 1,400 meters or however much distance away now. Because I'm going to basically I do this in every Assassin's Creed. I go to all of the eagle points or like the highest points and unlock those so I can start fast traveling later and make it a little bit easier. So right now I'm creeping into the southern side that's like the level 35s, which I got hit once with an arrow and I didn't fare too well. But I like doing the exploration and the fact that you can do the sneaking around and going prone is definitely a big improvement in comparison to previous ones. I'm also noticing you can overcome the sliding down the hill a little bit easier this time. Like there's some like forest areas that are like cliffs or like sliding or mudslides or something like that, where I'm trying to traverse around them. And at least if you slide, if you're trying to roll and try to run up the other side or hop to another ledge, you'll be able to make it up the hill still. So still finding out like the parkour and things along those lines. Loving it so far. Want to get back to Yosuke. I don't know how far that is in. I know he's in the beginning, but right now playing as the shinobi Noe. Yeah, it's awesome. Like the fact that she can like slice off parts on people is pretty cool. I know that sounds sadistic or whatever, but to have this type of game now, it just seems like a gift to some extent, considering, if you want to, attack NPCs, like, and that's the thing, you can like use the eagle eye to kind of, I know people don't necessarily like seeing through walls, but it's like, I use it to mark the regular civilians versus the red enemies. And the big difference is some of the ones that are in yellow, if you're too close to them, they'll try and stab you. So sometimes you have to take them out or knock them out or whatever you want to do. I've taken a few of them and grab them by the hair and choke them out and then throw them in a box and stuff while they sleep, kind of deal. But yeah, it's so much fun. The fact that you can chop through the paper doors or the bamboo doors and things on those lines, hide in like some of the boxes and then pop out and surprise the people. They still have the haystacks, which is great. It's just a little harder to see from some of the temples because the high points in the center. So you might not make it if you think there's a haystack there and you don't see that you're going head first. Yeah, you screwed up and you're about to break your legs and die type of deal. But yeah, it's so much fun. I'm loving the movement speed. Like it is, like you may mention in your post, it does feel a good bit faster. Like, and I was looking over my the times played. I loved Origins probably the most so far, with Odyssey being a close second. The only thing I didn't like about Valhalla was the way I played it, I messed up because I did all of the raids before I was supposed to do the raid. So I was going around being like a pirate or I guess a real Viking and raiding all these other camps. And then the story tells me later, I got to go back there. Well, I already got all the stuff. I don't need to go back there. But, that was me playing it, probably the wrong way. But that's the only one I didn't finish. Like I finished, I got 100%. I didn't get 1,000 points because there's some of the achievements that are bugged on Origins. But 100% of all the activities in that game, 100% of the main story in Odyssey, and about 75% of the DLC. In Valhalla, I'm only about 70% through. I got 10 days in it. Origins, I think, is 11 days, and Odyssey was like 14 days and some change.
Wow.
But yeah, this one is going to probably be like Cypher said earlier, I'm probably no life this one for a good bit, but enjoying it so far. I'm probably going to put it on pause when Atom Fall or Atomic Fall comes out. I think that's in like a week or two, or in about a week.
About a week. 7 days, give or take. It's just too many games, to be honest.
Yeah. No, but this one's total fun, and like I've been telling people, and no, this is probably the worst thing as far as for Ubisoft right now, and in supporting the devs, and considering the financial woes that they're probably having behind the scenes right now. I encourage everybody, do Ubisoft Plus. Try it out for yourself. If you're enjoying it like you've enjoyed other Assassin's Creed, then by all means go ahead and buy it. Probably if you play it for that month on Ubisoft Plus, by the time that subscription runs out, it'll probably be on sale, maybe 50% off or at least 30% off. So you're still ahead than what you would have done for buying it full price day one. And then not knocking anybody that does that. I'm just looking at it as I wanted to make sure the combat was as visceral as what I remember from Valhalla, and the traversal and things along those lines. Being able to do the parkour that you can just feels like so much fun. So I encourage everybody, like I said, try it. If you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, then you're only out of $18, and you'll probably have the full edition with all the DLC and stuff. So try to play as much as you can for that 30-day period. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm probably not going to post as many clips because I'm just having too much fun, doing flips over people and then slicing their throat kind of deal. So, but for the most part, and you can pet the animals, pet the dogs, pet the cats.
Yeah,
those are the only two animals I've come across so far. The raccoons or whatever those things are a little bit too fast to catch up to. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's an Assassin's Creed game the way I enjoy it, where it's like part RPG like with the upgrades and stuff like that, but you still have the stealth elements. The prone is a huge improvement. Being able to, instead of just kneeling through the tall grass, being able to low crawl, swimming and stuff is still like you would normally expect. The actual what do you call it? The tether or whatever, the being able to swing from stuff or jump up or even hide in the ceiling, which is another cool thing that you couldn't do in a lot of the other ones. Some of them you could kind of hide in crawl spaces and stuff, but being able to hide above your enemy because they'll walk in and try to look around and stuff like that, and you can just jump on their head and assassinate them kind of thing. But and not all assassinations work, but I'm still early on. I haven't leveled that stuff up. So if they're an elite or if they're like if they got skulls, yeah, you don't try and assassinate them. Although I think you can turn that on where it'll work on all of them, but I want to keep it at least somewhat not grindy, but at least a little bit more difficult without going full boat with the higher difficulties all together. Because there's been times where was stealth up until about the last two, or what I thought were like the last two guards, and then the alarm goes off, and there's all of a sudden a lot more guards, and even civilians start picking up spears and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely worthwhile playing. Enjoying it so far. Probably be playing most of it this weekend when I'm not on podcast. So yeah, definitely pick it up.
Oh, I made sure that my rest of the day, as soon as the show is done, I'm gonna jump, do my get in a workout, get that done out of the way. Because then if I sit on that couch, I'm not moving. So I got to make sure at least I get the workout in first, and then I will get down. I can't wait to get back to it. And I got news for you, because there's I don't technically have to get up early the next couple of days because Mrs. Boom is off. I might be burning the midnight oil. I get these types of games, they just get me. And I'm lying in bed, and I'll just kind of wake up and I'll look, and I'm like, yeah, I know it's 2:00 in the morning, but man, it would be really cool if I could sneak in another 90-something minutes of whatever game. That happened with Avowed. Like, I could not stop playing Avowed. I feel I've already gotten it's gotten its hooks in me. with Assassin's Creed. This is again, it's something that I know, and I'm not the only one. We've all been asking. I mean, it's just it works so perfectly. You know, the Ninja, Japan locale with Assassin's Creed. Like it took a long time to get here. We're finally freaking here, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm very excited to be playing it. And again, I saw a lot of people go through Ubisoft Plus as well. I didn't. I've always been subscribed to Ubisoft Plus, even when they didn't have a lot of games like in there. Like I've been subscribed since inception. Same thing with Game Pass. They have a lot of games that I like. And the one thing about Ubisoft Plus is that yes, it's $19 a month plus the tax. I think it's like 20 something dollars, but you get the best edition. It's not like you just get the game and you have to go buy the extra stuff. No, you get everything. You get which, if you remember, a couple of years ago, they used to have multiple editions. There was the gold edition that was $119. I always bought those because I always wanted all the DLC. I wanted all the extra bonuses that you start with, and now I don't have to buy them because, well, they're part of the service, and that's the whole point of paying for these games. And not having to pay these games. That's why you pay for the services. But I want to welcome in here Major Ben Gaming. Welcome, Ben. Nice to have you here, brother. He's a PlayStation guy, folks. Welcome in with open arms. He's not a troll. He's an actual gamer, and he prefers PlayStation. You know something? That's freaking awesome. So, Ben, welcome to the program. He actually has a question here. He says, I have a question regarding the next Xbox. I have and still buy many games on Xbox. I am concerned with the more PC-like rumors that maybe games won't be optimized for it. Well, I'll tell you this. The next Xbox, again, this is just rumors, Ben. And we're going to get into that's actually we're going to segue into what's being reported on by Jez Cord and The Verge and pretty much everybody. I saw the story break originally with our good friends over at XboxEra.com. Please get over there and support those guys. John, Jesse, and Nick, they're just all absolutely amazing humans, and they're continuing to grow their brand, which is amazing. But the next Xbox is rumored to be this mythical thing where it's going to combine console and PC gaming together. Now, this works for people like me, and I use myself as the test case here because I have a PC, but I strictly use it for producing the content. It's powerful enough so I could do my video editing, all my artwork for the thumbnails, and produce these shows as well as the videos. That's all I need it for. I go online, I do some shopping, I'm done. This next Xbox is going to be the one that's made by Microsoft, is going to be, again, something that has never existed before in console gaming. There was a Steam box that failed, that came in and went out with the dodo. It just came out and just no one bought it, and they just went away from it. This thing is going to be the best of both worlds. It's going to give you the simplicity of consoles. Plug it in, play. Put your, I'm sure it's going to have a disk drive. You put your disc in, it plays. It's great, but it's going to have the ability to play Steam. And again, this is where I use myself as a test case here. Why I believe what happened yesterday during GDC, and again, we're going to segue into it, is the future of gaming. Because right now, I am not a Steam customer. I have a Steam account, and I do occasionally see, every Resident Evil game ever made for $1. You have to go and you have to buy these things, right? I don't even download them. I simply just say, you know what? Here's my $20, whatever it is, and I know that if I go back to it, it's there. But see, that's not where this story is going. Why this is important and why I can see Steam partnering with Microsoft on this is because I'm a conundrum. I buy a lot of games, but I don't buy anything on Steam. Now, the one thing that we learned last year is a great example of this is there were 19,000 games released on Steam last year. That's just 1 year. Could you imagine if you were a developer trying to sell your wares on Steam? Well, if we know that Steam players buy games all the time. They buy these humble bundles and they buy all these Steam sales and they spend money that they know they shouldn't be spending, but they listen, there's 30 games. I can't say no, right? We have all done it. Where this is going to really, where the rubber's going to hit the road here is for people like me. I have seen, like, I'll have Chaos on, they'll be like, oh my God, I know how much you love Vampire Survivors. You should check out this game because it's like it. Where is it available? Oh, it's only on Steam. And I'm like, well, I'll take a look at it. I'll watch a video. I'm like, damn, that does look good. But I can't see myself sitting in front of this 27-inch screen playing this freaking game because that's not the life I live. I want to sit on my nice, comfy leather couch with a big ass TV with 120 frames and VRR and everything, all the bells and whistles. And I'm not buying rig. That's not my kind of gaming. But if this new mythical box that's supposed to come out in 2027 has Steam, good old games, and the chance to be in potentially Epic Game Store in there, I become now a customer to these entities where they would have never gotten my money. Steam will never get Boom's money because I don't play on PC. But if there's that mythical box underneath the TV that gives me the feel of console, but allows me to play that Steam game on here, well, then I have now become a customer to Steam. And that is a winner chicken dinner for both Microsoft and, of course, Gabe Newell continues to make the billions that he has in the bank. So I hope that answers the question for you, brother. But listen, let's get right into, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you know what? Before we actually get there, let me just catch up on the two chats here. We have J Mac, who's been a channel member, ladies and gentlemen, for 40 freaking months. J Mac, my brother, thank you so much for the outstanding support. He says, with Steam possibly being on the Xbox UI is the absolute nail in the coffin, nail and the PS coffin. Hashtag Graybeards in the building. Salute Boomstick panel and Xbox World Order is real. Indeed, we're actually going to get into that because again, I want to read Destin's very, very slanderous tweet verbatim because again, it's he's being facetious, he's being playful, he's being fun. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of really nasty comments, but what he's saying is the absolute truth. And this is why I was reading on social media, and folks, you know how I feel about naming the names. We don't do that here. One, because I don't want to ever embarrass anybody or make fun of people. Like, people make fun of me all the time. I'm clipped every day. That's okay. I'm 54. Nothing they could say is going to hurt me. It's, the old sticks and stones thing. I will never do that. I will never revert to naming a name to make someone feel smaller. That's ridiculous. I'm not 12. But J-Mac, thanks so much for the outstanding support. We super appreciate it. Tim the Sorcerer. Man, how you doing, brother? Welcome back. He drops, ladies and gentlemen, a very generous £2 super chat and says, great show, panel, and chat. Have a great AC weekend indeed. And he doesn't mean Atlantic City. He means Assassin's freaking Creed. Thank you so much, brother. Jonas the Dad. Jonas, nice to see you here, brother. He has been a channel member for a whopping 16 months. And Jonas goes on to say, thanks for being a fun and positive place to chill and chat. Hit the like button and share it out. Brother, that is freaking very kind of you. Hashtag Xbox better. And I keep seeing hashtag Xbox butter as well. Because that butter is very tasty, especially if you use that Series S toaster. Very delicious there. But let's get into the story. Now, of course, this was written by multiple. The story has been written by multiple people. I've used Jez Corden's stories pretty much all week because, well, Jez is a fantastic journalist. But today I'm going to kind of buck that trend, and I'm going to use Tom Warren's story because that's the one that I read, and I have it in front of me. Tom Warren, if you don't know who he is a senior editor of Notepad. He's been covering all things Microsoft, PC, and tech for over 20 years. And the lead story for today's topic says here's the Steam on Xbox evidence Microsoft didn't want you to see. And it says this: Microsoft posted and removed a new Xbox UI image with Steam games listed. And yeah, folks, I will bring this up in a hot second so you fine folks could see exact. You know what? Let me do that real quick because again, context is everything. Let me just do a quick screen share, ladies and gentlemen, and we will get you that so you can check it out because again, it went up and it went down like super quick. Now you can suggest that this is an accident, it's a mistake. I hope someone did not lose their job over this. I'm going to blow this up pretty ridiculous. Now, again, it's a little blurry, and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about. But let me just add this to the screen, gentlemen. Let me just hide us for a second. Okay, let me just get that out of the way. Get this, and you guys and gals can see exactly what I'm talking about. So, opening a billion doors with Xbox, and ultimately, what they're showing you on the screen is you will be able to play Xbox games on your traditional consoles, which are on the left-hand corner, which you see. On your right hand, you see your tablets, a phone, what looks to be like potentially a bigger tablet or maybe it's a laptop. That's what it looks like from here. In the background, you have a TV. Now, I'm going to see if I can blow this up, and I apologize if you can't. I can only do so much. Okay, so I'm going to go right back to the screen here. And if you look right here where the Elder Scrolls circle is, right above that, it says Steam. And this picture was immediately removed and taken down. And well, for good reason. So I'm going to just get this out of the way, folks, and put us back on the screen. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our beautiful faces. Silent Cipher, look, I'm going to read a little bit from the story verbatim, because obviously for context, it's incredibly important. But I do want to just, we're going to get into this because I think what happened, yes, it might be a mistake. Yes, it might be a controlled leak. But this is big news. Now, GDC ends today. We are currently all awaiting, and I'm one of them. I've reported on this because I talked to a few inside people that give me, tidbits of information. And we did learn, thanks to Jez Cord, who wrote 2 stories last week about this collaboration between Asus or Asus. I like the Asus better, and Xbox in this team up handheld. Now, in that story, Jez Corden reported that it unmistakably looks like an Xbox. What I have heard and what rumors are out there, I heard that again, this is just what I've heard, and it's already out there. I'm not breaking any NDAs because I haven't seen the thing. I don't have pictures of it. I'm just going based on what I've heard. It's basically the grips and the controller for an Xbox Series X controller with a big screen in the middle. Is that what it is? I don't know because they haven't shown it off yet. There's been rumors floating since last week that at some point during GDC, we would see it. Now, there's been some signs and some thoughts and some theories to it pointing to be on Friday. And why that gets a little muddied is because today is the last day of GDC. The wizard with the best beard in the business, Jason Ronald, tweeted yesterday that his time at GDC is done. Now, I don't necessarily know. I mean, he is, of course, been promoted. He is heading off what's happening in the future for Xbox. I don't know if he would be the one. I mean, it makes sense because I'm not, he would be a part of the design of this thing because it is being designed ultimately by, Asus, but they're working together, so he would have involvement. I don't know if later on this afternoon we actually get this thing unveiled, and it would be a collaboration between Xbox and Asus. So you would probably get Phil Spencer along with the head of that company to come up and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, on the final day of GDC, here is the whatever they're going to call it. And I'm hoping that happens. So, Fuzzy, you and I have a lot to talk about on Monday, but I'm also sad that it didn't happen already because, we almost didn't have a lot to talk about. That is until this happened yesterday. And let's get into it, Silent Cypher. So it goes on to say, while the image appears to be a mock-up, the with owned games listed twice as well, because again, it's a mock-up, folks. So these things happen. It goes on to say, I don't think the Steam label here is necessarily a mistake. Sources familiar with Xbox's or Microsoft's plans tell me that the company is currently working on the Xbox app update that will show every game you have installed on your PC. That includes games from Steam and the Epic Game Store. And I understand that Microsoft will label these games accordingly. Now, Tom goes on to say, I'm told Microsoft is still in the early stages of this Xbox app update, so the company might never ship the feature to the list that we saw, but this is what he's been told that they're working on. He goes on to say Xbox chief Phil Spencer also had previously hinted that PC stores like Epic Game Store and itch.io could one day arrive on Xbox consoles. Now, look, Silent Cypher, I don't think this is a mistake. That is a graphic. And it did clearly said Steam. And again, apologies that I can't blow it up anymore. If you do, you just can't even see what it says. It's not legible. You'd have to see it. I'll add all of these pictures and all of the links in the show notes. So if you decide you want to go check it out, you can simply just click there when the show goes on video on demand. But this is a big deal. This is a monster-sized deal because what this ultimately does, and again, we can have a little fun here. If this future for Xbox gaming includes adding your library to what is right now the Xbox PC app and will eventually be transitioned over to what the new Xbox UI is going to be in 2027, if it does release then and it doesn't come out next year by some miracle, you will no longer need a PlayStation 5 or a Pro or even, ladies and gentlemen, a PlayStation 6, because I believe that the future for PlayStation may not be God of War on Xbox. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I don't think it will. But I do believe they're going to get to a place where day and date for PC and PS whatever is going to be a thing. If this mythical box is anything like we've all discussed, and this, accidental peek into the future of being able to see your Steam games and your Epic Games library, as well as all of your Xbox games in one place, you could logistically go to Steam, buy a PlayStation 6 game, and play it on your hardware without ever having to buy a controller or a console. And I think that is the future that Xbox is talking about. Now, maybe you're never going to get the new Mario on there. Sure, it's Nintendo. They're going to always Nintendo. But I think that this is the future of gaming. And no, again, folks, I'm not trying to be like a D about it, but how many times have you heard, oh, I'll just wait for it to go to Steam and I'll buy an Xbox game there from PlayStation, from Blue Team? More times than I can count. If I had a nickel for every time they said that, I'd be rich and buying my new home. But this is the reality. This is the reality of where gaming is going. And you're going to be able to pick a box that works for you, whether it be you're comfortable with the controller, your friends list, your achievements, your trophies, whatever it is that makes you a fan of that box. You're going to be able to buy it, and ultimately, you're going to be able to play your games everywhere. Now, I've said this before. I'm not walking back on this. Sony is going to release a incredible console called the PlayStation 6, but it's going to be basically a super powerful PlayStation 5. That is what your future is for PlayStation. It's going to be closed box. It is going to allow, and I really think day and date is around the corner for it. So you'll get games on PC and you'll get games as well on your PlayStation 5, your Pro, your 6, whatever. But Xbox is making strides to be different. Why? And it's why a lot of people are going to buy the next Xbox. Let's get into this story because, again, I don't know if someone lost their job yesterday, but I don't think this was a mistake. I think this was an accidentally on purpose mistake. Let's get your thoughts, Silent.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of rumblings about some of these collaborations and cross compatibility over I don't know, the last year or two. It feels like, and so does it surprise me if that's the case? No. We know that there had been quite a bit of conversation with Gabe Newell over the last couple of years, so they probably have been cooking something up. I would say, the old saying of where there's smoke, there's fire. I would say this would be one of those scenarios. Like, yes, this is a sample thing to kind of demo it, but if that's on there, I don't think it's nothing. I think that there is something coming from this, and that gets me excited personally because I'm not a big fan of sitting here at my computer desk playing games anymore. Like, unless I'm playing Command and Conquer or something, that's about all I like to play at my computer desk. Anything else, I'd rather be able to play wherever. It's like you said, I'd rather be sitting on my comfy couch. I'd rather be chilling in bed. Like I wake up at 2 a.m. It's like, okay, better pull out the handheld and I can sit here and play some games while I'm there. So that gets me excited. Just the idea that these ecosystems are starting to kind of bleed into each other because it as a consumer, it benefits me a lot. If I can access my libraries across all of it, just like I already do on my ROG Ally to an extent, that's a win. that's It's nice to be able to have those things with me wherever I go, whenever I want to play those games. I mean, it's probably the reason why I have an ungodly amount of time in Balatro. It's because like I can pop that thing open and either play on my Xbox version or on my phone anytime I want to on the fly. Something like that is super convenient to me. And so if I have my handheld out there and I can jump into my Xbox games, my Steam games, whatever, that's a win. So I'm excited to see this. I am curious about the timing. And you do bring up a good point, right? Is like with Jason Ronald having already left for the week, it feels a little weird because it feels like he should be there for this announcement. Uh, it seems like a given since he's been the hardware guy all this time. But maybe there was something coordinated. Maybe he had something else he had to get back for. Like maybe he had to get back home for family stuff or whatever. Who knows? We might still see something today, and I feel like we should because I feel like I've heard a few people mentioning over and over that maybe by Friday we'd see something. But who knows? I mean, sometimes this stuff gets moved around on the fly. Sometimes it happens last second, depending on if something happens, if something falls through, whatever. Uh, but I am very curious to see if this is legit, and I think more likely than not, I think it is. Which I'm excited for. Again, selfish consumer here. I'm excited about that myself. Um, and it does expand into what you were talking about is the idea that you could potentially play, your PlayStation games and stuff like that on an Xbox handheld. I mean, it's not unrealistic unless for some reason somehow Sony locks like a certain launcher for their games so you can't play those games on that app or something. Uh, you should be able to because the ROG Ally right now you can do it. Like you could be playing God of War and then you could bounce over and be playing Halo within just a moment or two,
Yes.
just from leaving the launchers. So in theory, yeah, like this allows you to bleed those ecosystems even more and have all of those accesses in just one handheld, like we've been playing around with on these handhelds that have come out over the last year or so. So yeah, I mean I'm still interested to see what Sony does with hardware. for the PS6 if that does happen, which why wouldn't it? But it still is kind of a wrinkle to me because they brought out the PS5 Pro. And I had figured, can the idea of doing a mid-gen release bring out your PS6, stronger hardware, but you just brought out the PS5 Pro. And so
There you
I
go.
wonder, like, how far does that push them down the road before they release this? Because if you announce that PS6 is coming out here in like the next 6 months to a year, that's kind of a slap in the face for the people who invested in the PS5 Pro. I personally, for me, had I just bought one of those and then you announce that, I'd be a little pissed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like that would rub me the wrong way a little bit. And I know that technology always changes constantly. I've got my Galaxy S24 phone, and as soon as I got it, they already had 2 or 3 new mainline Samsung phones that were, in the works. So it's always going to happen with tech. This is just what happens. But that's a high dollar value purchase. Whereas with a phone, you're usually only paying like monthly on your phone versus the whole cost of the system, like right up front. So I'll be curious what they do with this. And I'll be curious, especially given the PS5 Pro had a lot of short-sighted issues in regards to the optimization, because the whole idea was that it was going to do everything better. But we've already seen plenty of test benchmarks and tests that showed that the games sometimes actually perform worse than the regular PS5.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that leaves Sony right now with hardware, and especially given the conversations we've talked about with their roadmap, I don't I don't know what Sony's roadmap looks like right now as far as hardware goes, because it's a weird time for them. I'm sure it'll work out. I don't know what hardware looks like for them at this point. And I think that this would definitely eat their lunch a little bit because, day and date on PC seems inevitable. And I would say it's sooner more than later at this point.
I think that
Probably
happens
within
this
the
year,
next-
brother. Like
Yeah.
I've been saying this for weeks, months even. I think Ghost of Yotai is literally the first day and date. And you know why? It's going to sell really well on Steam.
Yeah.
It is going to make them a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying that PlayStation gamers aren't going to buy it because Ghost
No.
of Tsushima sold pretty freaking good. So I would imagine people are going to line up to buy this as well. But
Yeah, you'll still get people buying it on all this or on the PlayStation system, but if they have it on Steam as well, it only benefits Sony because they're going to dip into a much bigger market. And
yeah,
that just makes sense. It's why Microsoft did it. It's why Sony's doing it or has been working towards it.
yeah. No, I mean it makes perfect sense. Again, Sony's not dying. They're gonna be very familiar. They're going to release a PlayStation 6 that is going to be extremely powerful. They're make no mistake. It is going to now the PSSR. I don't know if they move forward with that. Supposedly they're changing things because it's not delivering as good as they thought it was. So that's why they're moving on to a different system. I know that there was a game that was just released, and I can't remember what it was that it's actually doing. I think it's Assassin's Creed that's doing that using the PlayStation 5 Pro the way it's supposed to be used. So if you did buy a PS5 Pro, awesome. If you did buy Assassin's Creed, you were probably playing the better version. Now, compared to PC, I don't know nothing about that, but for the console, supposedly according to several places like Eurogamer, it is doing really good and things that you paid for it to do. Look, I again, there are a lot of variables here, folks, right? This isn't console war rhetoric. I think that everything Silent Cypher had to say was honest, earnest, and the truth. All the same thing. I think that, you have a third place publisher like Xbox doing some things. Now, would they have walked this different beat of the drum if they were first place? Probably not. Losing makes you change your way of doing things. And you know what they say about insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. Well, this is why Phil Spencer said in that interview, and multiple interviews, he obviously talked. He sat down with Gamertag Radio with Denny Pena and Paris Lilly. He also sat down with, of course, Destin Legary. And some of the things we got out of him is, why should I buy an Xbox? Why should I buy the next Xbox? Is because they're going to make something that's different, something that they've never done before, something for people like me, which is why the OEM situation is very interesting, because again, there's going to be an Xbox that you buy from Microsoft, and it's probably going to be pricey, folks. 700, maybe even $800. This thing is not, they're not eating money anymore. If this thing costs $700, you're paying $700. And you know what? I'm okay with that. But because I have a couple of extra bucks, maybe I don't want that $700 one. Maybe I want the one from, Alienware that's, $1,300, but that one has a 5070 in it. Oh, okay, now we're talking. I get to build my own Xbox, and I can pay what I want. Now we're talking. And this is why I think, again, I'm not talking about is market leadership changing. Look, PlayStation is a very popular brand. The last time I checked, they were number 7. They were in the top 10 of the freaking world. They're going to continue to be in that position. But things are changing. Gaming is changing. The way games are distributed are changing. The way games are cost, the cost of making games is continuing to skyrocket. And they got to figure this shit out. But Korkenstein, I want to bring you in because this is a very interesting conversation. The Steam integration that is starting out what it appears to be in the handhelds, right? Which these handhelds are basically PCs that are handhelds. And this new handheld that we're hoping gets announced today is the first OEM device that we're seeing Microsoft. And there's a couple of others. They made mention of it. I would imagine Lenovo is going to get in bed with them. I believe there's going to be, there are at least 15 different handhelds out there. The first one is Asus, and that's going to be the one that they teamed up with. We're going to, again, hopefully see that today. This is not the end of it. And if that graphic of being able to see your Steam games on your Xbox dashboard, I think it's a game changer. Let's get your thoughts, man.
It's definitely a move in the right direction for Xbox, and kind of expanding. Like I said, that's been their whole push this last couple of years, is been expanding their ecosystem, getting to more gamers where they're at. And Steam definitely has a big base. It's the biggest base on PC, so it naturally makes sense that you would try to incorporate or get yourself into that ecosystem as much as possible to make your games accessible to those consumers, because in the end, that's just more revenue, more profit for your company. It's something that is a very, very smart move from Xbox. Whether it was a controlled leak or an accident, I don't know. It could be both. It could be either or. Maybe an asset creation. They just titled it wrong, and junior intern making the article or whatever, or the presentation, just nabbed the wrong asset and attached it, and nobody did any quality control.
Though, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't happen on day 1 of GDC. And it technically happened on day 4 of GDC. So I don't know. I think this whole conundrum is a flip of a coin. I think we could both be right and wrong at the same time, Corker.
Who knows? They could be setting it up. Yeah, they could be setting it up to get everybody talking about Xbox and Steam, and then bam, tomorrow they hit it, or today they hit us with the handheld with Xbox and Steam. It's continued news. It's the people that keeps getting that story talking and clicks and everything like that, to where they started the hype yesterday, and then now it's here, and it's going to go throughout the weekend. It could, like I said, it could be something definitely controlled. Overall, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I have a pretty decent sized library on Steam. Um, it's something, especially if there's a handheld coming. I don't know though, because I did talk to I was watching Kay Asante's podcast with Everborn Saga, and we've seen different things, and I kind of pointed out too. I think it's a mistake on Microsoft's part, on Xbox's part, to not have it be an everywhere, all at everywhere, everything in one machine kind of thing, because it's supposed to be just PC kind of. I guess you can't play your Xbox games natively. At least that's the rumor.
Right.
And I said that was a pretty big miss, I think, on Xbox's part for their first handheld. Granted, Xbox might be, having their own, especially with the Steam integration, where they're like, yeah, now this is what we have to offer as Xbox. But their first foray into the handheld market, I kind of expected it to be an everything everywhere machine. Could be wrong. Again, it's just all based off of rumors and what we've heard. But I really do kind of want that. I mean, if that was the case, I would buy it day one. But it could be Everborn ported out too, that it could be licensing issues, could be different things that might stop it from doing that. With Steam, yeah, and then like you said, the next Xbox coming up. Oh man, that would be awesome. Kind of build your own Xbox. That was something that was rumored years ago, years and years ago, that they were going to do customizable Xboxes. Plug and play. You take a little unit out and you can put a 5070 in or something. Like it would be modular, I guess, in that sense. That was a long time rumor ago. I think that was supposed to be the Xbox 360 going into Xbox One, I think was the rumors back then. I mean, it makes sense now. Technology's better, technology's a lot smaller. Things, the things that you can do, the ecosystem's a lot healthier for Xbox right now. So that could be also another possibility. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm really, really excited for the future of Xbox and Steam integration.
Yeah, again, it's the way of the future, folks. I think being able to have all of your purchase games as a customer or a consumer in one location is ultimately where I think gaming is going all together. You do that right now on your PC. You're a PC gamer. You go to your PC and your launchers are right there for you. Whether it be Steam, whether it be Good Old Games, whether it be Epic Game Store, or whatever else you use. You simply hit the launcher, you play games, and you go. And if you're good in tweaking and you have your rig all ready to go, everything is done for you, and you go and you play. And that's great. I'm not that kind of guy. I've never been a PC guy. I probably never will be a PC guy. But I will be a guy that says, hey, I bought the original new Xbox. It was $700. I'm enjoying it. Oh, wait a second. Lenovo is making an Xbox? And I see that there's 3 versions. And there's the standard version for anyone that wants to, what I already have. Or, oh, wait a second. There's a $1,500 version. Let me see what this bad boy has. And you go and you're looking at like every bell and whistle you could possibly imagine is there. They build it for you. I don't got to do shit. And I think ultimately that's what's going to happen with the device. Now, in regards to Steam integration, Fuzzy, look, I'm going to say this right now. There is one thing, and I did find your member chat. I'll get to that in a second. It didn't pop up originally. Shout out to Korkenstein for adding it. There is some talk within the community. I want to put out this fire before it becomes wildfire. Okay, there's some talk in the community from the PlayStation team that suggests that Steam will be told not to put games on Xbox. Folks, I'm here to tell you something. Steam runs the ship. Sony is a passenger on that ship, and they're not telling Steam shit. They're not going to block games from being played on the next Xbox handheld or the console. A Steam game is a Steam game, regardless of Microsoft making it, PlayStation making it, or the guy 2 blocks down from you that has made a game in his garage. It's on Steam. that game is sold on Steam. That game is played where Steam is available. If Steam is available on this handheld, you will be able to play your PlayStation games that you bought on Steam. And on the next box, if Steam is available, you'll be able to play the day-and-date PlayStation 6 games. That's a fact. And I'm not the biggest tech guy here, but of course, we're going to bring Fuzzy, who is. Fuzzy, let's get your thoughts on what I just said. More importantly, let's get your thoughts on the accidentally on purpose, hey, we're here, Steam. Right here. We're here. Don't look at this. We're right here. Because that's what it seemed like to me. It's like, don't look at us, but look at us. I'm confused because I'm going to look. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Well, it does seem a bit strange for it to be just a let's say a designer's dream and hope type of thing that they accidentally released or snuck in there or something like that. So I think there was some more thought into it. Yes, even though they have owned games in there twice or whatever, as far as one of those little tabs, it's been talked about. The president of Microsoft Gaming has mentioned it numerous times in the past several years. So I would assume it's something. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's definitely something there. Especially considering we've heard in the past, like even as early as the launch of the series consoles, that Gabe was meeting with Xbox over stuff, and we remember how he was saying, "Oh yeah, if I was going to buy a console, I'd buy a Series X, or it's the best console out there," kind of thing. So there's been some friendly talks with Phil and Gabe over the years, and I think, considering what he's even made mention in the ABK trial, that he trusts Microsoft or Xbox with its current leadership without having to have a contract, make it quote unquote official. That goes to show that there is a working partnership, not just to sell Xbox games on Steam, but something a little bit more above and beyond. Like, you can even sideload stuff on like the Steam Deck, for example. So I can imagine that if it's not going to be in the official launch or release, that you'll still be able to do a sideload, since this will be more of a PC handheld, let's say. Now, I can't promise that these things will be the case, but I do believe that a lot of this stuff will be the norm. Now, as far as console stuff, it comes down to third-party licenses. Companies like Take-Two are going to want you to buy the game twice. They love you to double dip. Perfect example is GTA 5. How many of us bought GTA 5 more than twice from the 2 generations ago to now?
I think everyone has honestly purchased that game 7 times. You just don't even know it. Like, honestly, ask anybody. I've bought it, I think, 5 times. If I'm doing just a quick thought. So listen. It's ridiculous how many times we bought that game. But that's a great point.
Yeah, and I think that's the only thing that's really stopping it from instantly saying that you can have your console games play on this device natively. Now, considering how many studios and properties and IPs that Microsoft and Xbox own at this point in time, would you be upset if only the Xbox first-party stuff and Activision stuff and Bethesda stuff and anything else they've purchased over this period of time were the only ones, at least at launch, that you could play your console versions of natively? And in that case, most recently, for a lot of their first party stuff, you get the dual entitlement. So you'll have an equal app on there to be able to have it playable. The only thing I know with some of the Bethesda games, and I've experienced this just because I like playing between the console and PC and trying to pick up where I left off, there's only a handful of them that haven't done the cross progression. Like Fallout's one of them where I have a separate save for PC and console. Prey was another one that I have a separate save for PC and console. I think Hellblade 1 is another one where I have a separate save for PC and console. Now, Hellblade 2, it's all one save, so your progress picks up from where you left off, kind of thing. So I think this handheld or this new OS will make that, Xbox Play Anywhere even easier and a lot more of a reality for a lot of people. Having access to Steam ensures that you get access to games that even console doesn't get all the time right away. Sure, some of them are early access, but a lot of them are from devs that have polished and are growing or building the game based on feedback directly from the community, which in a lot of cases sometimes works better than the early access on console.
Yep.
Because you have direct feedback into that whole loop. Like No Rest for the Wicked, the same ones that did Ori, that game is only on PC. Now it's probably going to be within the next 6 months to a year on console, but if there's things that you want as far as feedback for that developer to hear, having access to it from Steam is definitely the way to go. Now, it probably wouldn't make sense to then pick it up on console later, but you get the point. You don't have to worry about certain games missing this platform anymore. That kind of fills that hole as they work with those devs to ensure that it doesn't happen any further. But the key thing is having access to Steam is probably, it may not seem like a big to do in the sense of, it doesn't benefit Xbox directly, but it does make it easier for us as the consumer that may have a collection of epic games that they've, haven't bothered, downloading yet because they just collect all the free ones and add them to their library.
That's what I do. I'm not going to lie.
Or some of the Steam games, like when there's examples of like the summer sale or even the winter sale where it's like you can get decent games that, they might be a generation old, but like for under $5, in some cases under $2 and stuff like that. A lot of times, or even the humble bundles for that example, you can build up a collection of those that you'll have access to at least cover, moving forward as far as some games that, like I said, miss console or that you may have missed purchasing on console and now can pick up through Steam in that regard. Some of them that may have been delisted from console, where GOG is another example of where they're doing that whole game preservation deal where some of those delistings are still available on their site because they're guaranteeing that these games will continue to work and you'll be able to continue to purchase them and things along those lines. But the Steam thing is a nice feature for us gamers. The handheld in general, excuse me, the handheld in general is going to be probably that aha moment where I get it. A lot of people aren't necessarily for the PC. There are some of us that have our PC hooked up to our TV. And one thing I always recommend in the background to a lot of us in the community, get that Steam Deck or get that handheld and get one of those docks and then hook it to your TV like it's a Switch. You can either, sync it with your controller or keyboard and mouse for the, the RTS games that you may want to try. But that's probably going to be one of the big steps into getting into that PC and console blurred line space and be able to enjoy it at your TV or on the go or pretty much at a monitor, at a computer desk or whichever one suits your fancy kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking for something to replace my Steam Deck that's more of an all-in-one. Like I'm still a little hesitant to put Chiaki on my Steam Deck, which allows you to do the remote play for PlayStation, but I already have some of the PlayStation games already purchased through Steam. So if this next, Xbox can do the same or give me access to those Steam games, then I have my all-in-one device that, then I can hand my Steam Deck over to my wife and then pick up the next Xbox ROG Ally, whatever, blend. I guess it would be like an Xbox Ally or something. That'd probably be the better name for it, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Steam on Xbox, I think is going to be that added feature like you didn't know you wanted. And I remember somebody asked earlier about Quick Resume. Do we think Quick Resume will be on the handheld? Me personally, I think it will as long as they've gotten far enough with Windows 12 in the background. Windows 12 is pretty much right around the corner. They were forcing everybody off of Windows 10 here soon to get to Windows 11, but Windows 12 should be coming soon. And one of the key features from a gaming standpoint that they talked about having in that is Quick Resume. So PC will finally have what we've had on our series consoles. And then moving forward, everything in the Microsoft ecosystem will have access to that Quick Resume. So when you're playing on your PC, when you're playing on your series console or whatever the next Xbox is or that handheld, you'll have that same ability to bounce between games and pick up where you left off. Although even without Quick Resume, I think what you may have is still the, pick up where you left off. It just may take an extra second or two to load because even with the way things are set up now on these handhelds, you can bounce from game to game. It's just that instead of it being loading in 3 seconds, It might take 5 or 6, but we'll see how that goes, especially if it's on the internal SSD as opposed to like a micro SD card that you put in it or something like that. But looking forward to it either way.
Again, this is a very exciting time for gaming. It is moving in a direction that I think ultimately is going to be the mecca, if you will. You get all your games in one location. Xbox is doing it first. They've been working on this for a while. Again, I really think that it does remove the whole conversation of why is Xbox putting games on PlayStation and Switch? What are they getting in return? Well, they're getting money, folks. That's what they're doing. Again, this is not something that old dogs like me I would have never signed off on this, but the business has changed. And you know what? We have to move on with the times. I'm not going to, videotape myself crushing my Xbox with a refrigerator. I'm just not going to do that. That's stupid. But we have seen people do that. And we've had like super big people in the community be like, give up an Xbox. I don't really believe that they did, because if you're going to give up Xbox, that's fine. I hear you. Go to PC, awesome. But they're talking about going to PlayStation 5. It means that you're paying $70 for these games. That to me doesn't make the dollars ain't making the same sense, at least. But it's fine if that's what you're going to do. And then why we don't name names here. But listen, great conversation from everybody. Shout out to Paris Lily, who's in the chat, who basically said, why would PlayStation block your money? Well, of course not. They're going to take your money. If you're going to buy the game and play it on your Xbox, they don't give a shit. They just got your money. But then again, PlayStation is petty, right? So maybe they would try that, but it's unlikely. Steam does not play that game. If it's on Steam, you play the game where Steam's available. If Steam's available on an Xbox, you're playing that game. Otherwise, guess what? They're taking it. Look what happened. Look what happened to Helldivers. They took it off the Steam store the minute you couldn't play it in this country. Oh, okay. Well, you can't play over here. We're not selling it. Right? That's what happened. And then, of course, what did Sony have to do? They had to bend the knee to the mighty Steam. It would be the same principle here. But let me catch up on Super Chats, and we'll start first with the channel member chat from Will the Insider Lewis. He goes on to say, let's see, Ubisoft has a special right now, ladies and gentlemen, where instead of paying $180 a year, which is what I spend, you can spend $108 for the 12 months instead of the $18 a month if you want to get it. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, Will. Thanks so much for being here. That's great. $108 for the whole year is great. And if you don't have it, because I went looking to see if I can do it, I can't get it, because when I went to go do it, they're like, oh yeah, it's 59 something plus tax. I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I already pay, so they got me. They already got me. It's fine. We also have here, he drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, well, you missed my 8-month member chat. Yeah, for some reason it didn't show up on the software, but thanks to Korkenstein, I was able to find it. But let's get to the other super chats here. Hopefully everything is there. We have we have actually a couple here. So we have Gamers Play HUD Zero, who's been a channel member for a whopping 40 long months. Brother, that's very kind of you for this kind of support. We super appreciate the generosity. Gamers Play HUD Zero says, Xbox had the plan since before the OG Xbox. PC experience in the living room. That's true. We finally have the affordable tech to pull it off for the common gamer. And again, that's common gamer is me. Yeah, I know I'm a veteran of the industry. I've been gaming since 78, but I'm not about that rig life. The $5,000 rigs are great if you can afford it, and I could logistically afford it. I don't want the problems with PC. I don't want to be bothered. We also have here Day Reezy. Welcome back, brother. He drops a very generous $2 super chat. Day Reezy goes on to say, oops, my Series X is a PlayStation. The slander, the absolute slander. Jonas the Dad drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, going controlled leak, a shot across the PlayStation 5 bow. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, look, leaks happen, mistakes happen. Slides like this get out to the interwebs all the time. but they knew they were going to be there. You know what you're bringing with you. It's day 4. You're already there. You're the 4th day you're there. I don't know if this is like, oh, the intern Johnny just, he grabbed the wrong package and put that out there. I don't know about that. I'm going to be honest with you. But, again, things happen. But I think it's more of a controlled leak, in my opinion. Jonas the Dad, folks, has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. Brother, that is very kind of you. Thank you so much for the outstanding support, Jonas. We super appreciate it. We have here Jay Slay drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, yo, Boom, have you played Mullet Magic? No, I downloaded it, dude. And then, of course, Assassin's Creed has stolen my life. I'm going to jump into it because it's a quick one shot. I know you got to shoot people in the balls. I know that's a thing in order for you to advance. Kind of wicked if you think about it, but that's a thing. I'm going to check it out. He says it's a sick FPS 80s anime meets Doom. Give it a try when you get a chance. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm going to definitely give it a shot. It looks really good, super fast, super colorful. We also have here 2 more. And the first one comes the way of Do You K Now, the Broke Boy Insider drops a very generous $10 super chat. And Broke Boy Lewis goes on to say, just an FYI to people, the Apple TV device actually has a Steam Link app for it. The app connects to your PC remotely, and you can play the game on your TV with a controller connected to it. I didn't even know that. That's just crazy. But I also don't have Apple TV, and it's fine. It's fine. But thank you for the information, brother. Super appreciate it. He's been dropping knowledge nuggets left, right, and center. We definitely appreciate that, Will. Aaron in the chat drops a very generous £5 super chat. Aaron goes on to say, I hope Sony doesn't block players from buying their games from an Xbox affiliated device. That would be a big shame. How would they even do that? Well, they wouldn't, because the way Steam works specifically is, again, Steam is running the ship. Gabe Newell is running the ship, not Sony. Sony is being privileged to put their games on Steam the same way everyone else is. The way Steam works is if you have Steam available on a device, you can buy any game that's available on Steam and play it on that device. Now, if that device turns out to be an Xbox or a whatever, you're going to be able to buy and play that game. They're not going to block it, because if they try to do that, that game will not be for sale on Steam. And then Sony's just going to look stupid. So, yes, Sony is petty, but they don't run the ship. They are just as privileged as anyone else to put their games on Steam. And I think that if they tried something ridiculous like that, Steam would do exactly what they did with Helldivers. When they couldn't sell it in other countries, they took it off the store. And then what had happened with that? Immediately, the PSN requirement was removed. Sony bent the knee, and they would bend the knee again. So thank you so much for the generosity, Aaron, and I hope that answers your question. Lastly, Traybone408 _ Traybone, nice to see you here, brother. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Microsoft no longer playing chess. Now they're playing Board Game Go. I mean, some people would say they're playing 4D chess, but I think, like I said, I just feel that the Play Anywhere thing and the Steam integration and the OEM ability to make your handheld, and now potentially different makers of the actual console, is a future that they're working on. I think they're going to get there first. I think there's going to be some bumps in the road that they have to figure out. I know someone asked in the chat, if you can play Steam on your Xbox, does that mean you have to pay for online? I think there is going to be a world. I don't know when this is going to happen. And I do think Microsoft is going to do, if that integration does happen, where you have the ability to play your Steam games on your Xbox, I don't know what the workaround looks like to getting rid of Xbox Live for paying. But I'll put it to this way, if they ever did get rid of having to pay to play multiplayer online via these new Xbox consoles, Sony is in trouble, because I don't know how you're going to be able to ask people to pay this money, which I believe is $80 a year for cloud saves and the ability to play online, and then the other guy is giving you everything, and that's free. It would be a bloodbath. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the workaround looks like, how they could even do it, but this is why they're building these bridges as they're going. And again, I think it starts with the OEM hardware, which we're going to see in the form of handheld first. We're going to see that happen with the home console for the first time ever. And then, of course, this is where Play Anywhere, cloud gaming, and all the things that they're doing that seem like a bit out of sorts when you look at them in a singular fashion. But then when you just take a step back and you see when they start to put this puzzle together, it is going to be the perfect world for gaming. And if you're an Xbox gamer, you're going to be winning. But that's going to do it for us here. Let's get everyone out of here. We'll start first with Silent Cypher. Brother, thank you so much for joining us. This was a rocking 90-plus minute show. Great opinions from everyone. We opened up with positivity. We closed out with positivity. Let's sell the brand, brother. Where can people check out the Xbox International podcast on Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you, Crazy Lou Gaming, and the rest of the crew deliver great pieces of content each and every week. And of course, if you are a Spanish-speaking gamer and that's your only language, you can check out the Xbox International podcast in Espanol, I believe, on Fridays. Sell it, brother. Where can people check that out? And more importantly, find you on social media?
Well, thank you, Boom. Always great hanging out with you guys in the morning. Yeah, like you mentioned, you can catch me Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, the same time as Mr. BoomStick's show that day. Thing I always say is, like, whether you catch us or catch his show first, just make sure that you're enjoying the content when you get a chance. Like, if you like it, I don't care when you watch it, as long as you're having fun with it. You'll also catch our Spanish-speaking version, as he mentioned, on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard as well. Besides that, as far as where you'll find me on, I think Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You can catch me on Xbox, of course. You can find me on Steam. I just don't play on it very often. Find me on Discord, all as Silent Cypher. Feel free to shoot me an invite or friend request or whatever. I'll gladly talk gaming or movies. I always enjoy conversation. But you'll also catch me, of course, here every other Friday morning, hanging out with my brothers right here, my lovely bald brothers, and then the strangely overly haired Korkenstein. No offense. And then, of course, you will catch me this evening hanging out on Fright Nights with Ferocious Fee, hanging out with Fuzzy, Fee, and Presto Beaches, talking The Monkey, the movie that just released a few weeks ago in theaters. Looking forward to having some conversation on that one. I'm curious what everyone thought. If you haven't checked out that show, I'll drop the link in the chat, but please stop by, subscribe, do the thing. If you like horror movies, if you like movies in general, come hang out, have a conversation. It's been a great time so far, and we're quite a few episodes deep now. So, yeah, been great hanging out with you guys, and hope you have an awesome Assassin's Creed weekend.
I cannot wait. Like I said, I'm going to power through my workout to get back to it because I can't wait. I'm very excited to play it. It's such a good game. Folks, if you're on the fence, again, thanks to Will, the broke boy, Lewis, not only can you obviously just subscribe, if you want to just subscribe for a month, you could do that. But if you want to get Ubisoft Plus, and I believe it's worth it. They've put out enough games in a year for it to be worth it, especially for me because I always bought the $120 edition. I've always bought the gold edition. So if you get 2 games a year from them, and there's been a couple of games this year, and there might be 1 or 2 more at the back end of the year. Like, for instance, we're expecting the new DLC for Brooklyn in the Division 2. That's going to be a $30 or $40 expansion. You get Assassin's Creed with all the DLC. You get the $120 edition, and you get this. It's basically paid for. And if you sign up now, you get, thanks to Will, you pay $108. That's not bad. Because, again, what you're getting for one edition is what you're paying for the whole year. Well worth the money for sure. Korkenstein, brother, let's sell your brand. Where could people check out the content that you work on each and every week? Of course, we're talking about the Game Pass Gumbo. We don't know when the other Xbox podcast is coming back, but I know you might have some information about that. And more importantly, where can people find you on the socials, dude?
Yeah, thanks again, Boom. It's always great, Silent and Fuzzy, to be talking here with you guys. As always, so knowledgeable. And yeah, it's great. It's really, really great to have this outlet every Friday with you guys. Same thing with your chat. Super, super awesome. I already posted some links already down below into the chat for Game Pass Gumbo. I think we're gonna do a fun community stream. Whoever wants to join.
Nice.
We're gonna be doing 33 Immortals, I believe, this weekend.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, so please come join us then. Just follow me on all the socials. Just look up Porkenstein. You'll find me on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Threads, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I think we're gonna do some 33 Immortals hopefully this weekend. Xbox talks. I can't say more about anything yet, but we do have something with
Mm-hmm.
the developers for the Expedition 33
Nice, dude.
game coming up. We have something really big, probably one of our biggest giveaways or coolest giveaways that we've done. So yeah, come check us out. You can always follow on the subreddit as well, Xbox subreddit. We are just our Xbox. And yeah, we'll have more news there. I'll have more news on my socials. And yeah, hope to see you guys this weekend. Have fun playing 33 Immortals and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yes, indeed. And of course, the 29th is going to have Towerborn. I
Yeah.
believe there's Atomic Fall is another one. It's like too many games. And I'm very, very excited for Towerborn because it's kind of like Castle Crashers, but better. You can design your character. It's an RPG. It's a hack and slash. I mean, that's just, that's right up my alley. But before we get to Fuzzy, we also have a couple of super chats and a new channel member. Knight of Cypher has become a channel member. Thank you, kind sir. Not Silent Cypher, Knight of Cypher. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member, brother. We super appreciate the generosity. We also have here Will the Broke Boy Insider drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says, take it with a grain of salt. And he's not always right, but Ecstasies is saying that Hollow Knight Silksong will be announced and released by the end of the summer. Yeah, he actually did. I actually did see that. Look, I'll say this about Ecstasies. That guy's connected. Look, I don't consider myself connected. I have two sources. They're really good. And when I get it, and they give me the thumbs up, so I don't break any NDAs or get anybody in trouble. I drop it. Have I been wrong before? Sure. That's just the nature of the business. You put yourself out there, and sometimes you get it right, and everyone looks at you as a champion. Sometimes when you get it wrong, you get videos made about you. And you know what? Thank you. Keep making the videos. It's content. It's engagement. Someone is going to see one of these videos and say, you know what? Let's see if this Boomstick's an asshole. And they're gonna watch the clip and they're like, you know what? He actually is not a bad looking guy. I'm gonna go check out his freaking show. And they're gonna come in and be like, man, this is Mr. Positivity. What was that jackass talking about? So keep making the videos and wasting your time. Because I don't know, my time is valuable. I don't hate watch anything. But Robert Young in the chat. Robert, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for the very generous $5 super chat. He says, I find it funny. Everyone was steadily talking shit about AC Shadows, and yet everyone is now playing it. Because the internet is just packed with a-holes, brother. People just love to hate on things. And of course, DEI was the ringing of the bell. Go play this game, folks. If you're like me, and you have been in your mind imagining what an Assassin's Creed in Japan would be like, this is the game for you. It is so good. And again, like I said, it screams culture, and the respect to it is right on Front Street. It really does. And like I said, I'm only 3 hours in, but already the two protagonists, they're both super powerful, and badassery is on display, but there's a humbleness and there is a vulnerability that you get from these two characters. It's the writing is phenomenal. And again, I know I'm only 3 hours in. Some people are here 5 hours in, and it's just it's amazing. It just really is. Fuzzy Belvedere, let's sell your brand, which of course is the best place for anything and everything in the racing genre. And I would imagine that there is going to be a party once Forza hits Japan, which is hopefully next freaking year. For the love of the gaming gods, get to Japan already, Forza. And of course, we're not here just to sell your brand. We're here to sell the wife's brand as well, which of course is Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday evenings. B horror, J horror, slashers, gore. You have, you love talking about clowns, especially I forgot what what's the crazy clown that kills everybody.
Terrifier.
Terrifier.
Art.
Yes. Actually, they just did a song with him. Ice Nine Kills did a song with him. If you're into metal like I am, yeah, believe it or not, that he's a part of their video, which they do great videos, by the way, and they're all horror. So if you like horror and you'll like Ice Nine Kills. But let's sell the brand, brother. Where can people subscribe to both of your YouTube channels, and more importantly, follow you on social media?
As always awesome doing this show with you, Boom, Cypher, as well as Korkenstein. Love your guys' takes and just interacting with you guys on everything in this industry, and interacting with the chat. Love you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to check us out. Greatly appreciate it. And for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just do a search on pretty much all social media except for Facebook for Fuzzy_Belvedere. You'll be able to find me and my YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot. And for those that like horror games or horror movies, like Silent Cypher said earlier, definitely check us out later on tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Fright Night with Ferocious Fee. Fee is my wife. We also have Presto Beaches, who's another member of the panel. Like Cypher said, we're going to be talking about Monkey, the movie that was just released. I enjoyed myself, but you can hear more about it and everybody's takes on the movie. Just check us out, hang out in the chat. If you have seen the movie, even better. If you haven't seen the movie, this might give you some insight on if it might be worth your time, which I'm going to, let the cat out of the bag. I think it's worth a watch, but definitely join us tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Links in the chat for both the podcast as well as the channel. So come join us, at 6 p.m. Greatly appreciate it. And have a great weekend. Play some games.
Yes.
I forgot all about 33 Immortals. I started it and I got some of the drops from Twitch, watching some streamers, got some drops from AC Shadows as well. So every now and then check out Twitch, get some drops for the games that you're going to be playing. But man, there's too many games. But that's, I guess, a good problem to have. And I'm kind of enjoying it, even though I got to divvy up my time between all of them. I still got to get my Forza Horizon in every day and whatnot. But have a good weekend, guys.
That's with me in Call of Duty. Like I make sure that because I'm literally 2 tiers away from finishing season 2. Season 3 is starting, if I'm desperate, I'm not going to miss out on finishing it. I'll use my tokens. I think I have like 15 of them that I've acquired since season 1, and I'll just kind of just power through it. But I'm like you. I get in. I do my dailies, and actually, you know what? I hated them at first because I'm like, God damn it! I gotta get 10 kills with the sniper. I can't stand using the sniper. And you know what? Now you folks seen I'm deadly. I'm a deadly assassin with that bitch, and it's great, especially when you're popping 2 people at a time. And the best place to use a sniper if you need to finish your dailies is go play Stakeout, because everyone's just lined up like a bunch of dominoes and you just shoot them in the face. It's great. But that's gonna do it for us here on Breakfast at Boom. For Silent Cypher, for Fuzzy Belvedere, for Korkenstein, and of course myself. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of the generous super chats, channel member chats, as well as channel memberships that continue to come in that allow for Mrs. Boom and I to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Get the new software. Obviously I had an issue with copyright stuff. I'm now a part of a program that I pay $200 a year, and I have thousands of songs that I cut myself, which is awesome. And of course, this all costs money to keep these shows running. And again, we super appreciate the generosity. again, enjoy gaming on whatever console, folks, you enjoy gaming on, but do not skip on AC Shadows. Go play it for yourself. Don't fall for the virtual banana in the tailpipe. I'm telling you, people are just overly hating because the world is shit, and this is what people like to do. They want to bring you into their sadness. Don't. Go outside, get some sun, shake off that fog and go play some video games. But of course, I'm going to close out the show, ladies and gentlemen, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day will be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.